My daughter cut ties with me right after the divorce, never once asked to hear my side of the story. Now, 8 years later, she pops back up asking about her inheritance. I couldn't help but laugh and told her, go ahead and unblock me. Read the message I sent you years ago. Hey Reddit. Zach Langston here. I'm 56 now. And if you'd told me 8 years back that I'd be sitting here, writing all this down, not for pity, not even for closure, just to finally let it out, I'd have thought you were nuts. I used to be one of those guys who believed time healed everything. Turns out, it doesn't. What it does do is show you who truly gave a damn. 8 years ago, my marriage to Bella came to a messy end. We'd been together over 2 decades. She was 46 then, and I was 48. We had one daughter, Ariana. She was just turning 20 when the divorce hit. And when it did, Ariana didn't even blink. She picked her mother's side, without hesitation. Blocked my number, cut off all contact, and the last thing she said to me was, "Mom told me everything I need to know about you." I tried everything, calls, messages, even emails. Once, I stood outside her dorm for hours, hoping to catch a glimpse, maybe just see her face. She ended up calling campus security on me. The message was loud and clear. Stay away. And that wrecked me. It wasn't just the divorce that broke me, it was losing my daughter so suddenly, like I'd been deleted from her life. She didn't even ask a single question. No chance to share my side. Just cold, cutting silence. Bella had painted a picture of me, a perfect story. I was the bad guy. The selfish, distant dad who buried himself in construction work and forgot his family. And yeah, I worked long hours. I had to. I was the only one bringing in a paycheck. Bella stayed home to raise Ariana, and I respected that. Honestly, I was proud I could provide that life for them. But when things between Bella and me started going south, it didn't take much for her to turn Ariana against me. She had the spotlight. And I was cast as the villain. No defense. No trial. Just a final verdict. And I lived with that silence for 8 long years. Threw myself into my job. Took care of my mom, who was slowly fading away with Alzheimer's. She passed about a year ago. She was all I had left. I remember standing alone after the funeral, in that cemetery. And it hit me like a brick wall. I had no one. Not a single soul to put a hand on my shoulder. No family. No daughter. Then, 2 months ago, my phone rang. I heard a soft, unsure voice say, "Hi, Dad." I nearly dropped the phone. It was Ariana. I hadn't heard her voice in nearly 10 years. At first, I didn't even recognize it. It had changed, quieter, older, cautious. She said she'd seen something online about her grandma's passing and wanted to check in. I was stunned. I didn't even know she still kept tabs on me in any way. I told her thank you for calling. And I told her the honest truth, that I missed her more than I could ever put into words. She said she wanted to talk, maybe meet up. We settled on dinner at my place the following Saturday. I cleaned like my house was about to be on the market, cooked her favorite meal, shrimp Alfredo. Even picked up some flowers, not for her, but to make the table look like it still mattered, like I still had folks in my life. She showed up right on time. And when I opened that front door and saw her for the first time in 8 years, it felt like the past crashed into the present. She looked so much like her mom. But I could still see glimpses of the little girl I used to carry on my shoulders. I swallowed hard and gave her a hug. Dinner went fine. We talked like 2 people trying to feel their way through unfamiliar ground. Not exactly a heartfelt reunion. But I was thankful. Honestly, I was. Then, I finally asked the question I'd been choking on for nearly a decade. Why? Why didn't you ever ask me what really happened? She lowered her gaze and said, almost in a whisper, I was scared. Mom said a lot, and I believed her. I didn't know better, and maybe I didn't want to, she added. She apologized. Said she regretted everything. Said she felt ashamed. And I wanted to believe her. I really, really did. But something felt off. And sure enough, the conversation took a turn. I asked what made her reach out after all this time. That's when she dropped the real reason. She'd gotten engaged a few months earlier. Money was tight. She was hoping the lawyers would call her about the inheritance from her grandma. When they didn't, she decided to call me. I tried to keep a straight face. Just nodded. She said she hated bringing it up. But Grandma had told her years ago that she'd inherit everything, being the only grandchild. She wanted to know if that was still true. Anything you could give would help, she said with a nervous smile. The wedding's going to be big. And there it was. The blade I didn't see coming, right between the ribs. I'd pictured this moment for years. Dreamed about it. Hugging her again. Being her dad again. But when I realized I was just a potential payout to her, something inside me cracked. I told her the truth. That the inheritance had been passed to me a long time ago. That Grandma had changed her will. I told her I planned to use the money to finally open up a little woodworking shop, something I'd always wanted to do. But I added, from my own savings, I'd be willing to give her a few thousand to help with the wedding. Her face dropped like a rock. That's it? She asked. That's all I can offer, I said back. Her voice got cold. Grandma told me I'd get everything. I'm her only grandchild. And you're also the one who never visited her again after the divorce, I replied, keeping my voice calm. She got heated. You're just proving everything Mom ever said about you, she snapped. I gave a bitter laugh. And you're proving everything I feared was true about why you came back, I said. She stood up, flustered. I came here to reconnect, to plan for my future. And you're being selfish. No, I said. You came here to see if you had a payday waiting. She stared at me, speechless. And that's when I dropped the truth that wiped that fake guilt off her face. If you hadn't blocked me all those years ago, you'd have seen my messages. You'd have known your grandmother was sick. You could have seen her one last time. And maybe, just maybe, she'd have still kept her promise to you. She froze, visibly shaken. What messages? She asked. Unblock my number, I told her. She did. And I forwarded every last one of them. The ones where I begged her to talk. The ones where I updated her about her grandma's health. Even the one where I invited her to say goodbye, before the funeral. She read them in silence. Then she said softly, I didn't know. No, I said, you didn't want to know. We sat there in silence. And then I stood up. I don't hate you, Ariana. I probably never could, I said. But I don't trust you. And love without trust, that's not love at all. She opened her mouth to say something, but I raised my hand. I spent 8 years missing you. Mourning you. Even though you were still alive. But I'm done mourning. I'm done waiting. And I'm done being a father to someone who only remembers me when there's money on the table. She didn't say another word. Just picked up her bag and left. And I stood there in my quiet house, same as always. Alone. But for the first time in years. I felt peace. 3 days after Ariana walked out, I got a call from a number I hadn't seen in almost a decade. Bella. For a second, I thought it had to be some kind of prank. Her name flashed across the screen like a ghost from another life. I let it go to voicemail. She called again the next morning. Then again that night. 4th time, I answered, not because I was curious. I was just done running. Done letting other people write the story while I kept swallowing the truth. Zach, she said, her voice careful. Almost soft. Can we talk? I didn't say a word. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. You're right, I said. There was silence. She took a breath. Ariana came home upset. She told me everything. I almost hung up right then. I didn't want to rehash it. Didn't want to hear Bella twist the truth again like she used to. But something told me, just finish this. Close the loop. She told me you offered her money, Bella said, and she refused it. I actually laughed. That's not quite how it went. There was another pause. You're right, she admitted. I know Ariana. I know when she's lying. But that's not why I'm calling. Then why are you calling, Bella? I want to apologize. That stopped me. I didn't know what to say. 8 years too late, I finally muttered. I know, she said, voice cracking. I destroyed you. And I convinced myself it was justified. That you were cold. Distant. That you didn't care about us. If I painted you as the bad guy, it made it easier for Ariana to stay with me. So you admit it? I asked. I do, she said. I was angry. I was bitter. I didn't want her to leave me. And I knew, if she heard your side, if she had a real choice, she might have. She would have, I said flatly. I never would have turned her against you. I know, she whispered. I leaned back in my chair, staring out the kitchen window. The backyard was still. The wind moved gently through the trees, same way it had the night Ariana came over. You know what the worst part was? I asked. It wasn't the lies. It wasn't even losing the house or half my savings. It was watching my own daughter erase me. Like I never mattered. Like I didn't raise her. Like every bedtime story, every scraped knee, every Christmas morning meant nothing. I'm sorry, Zach, Bella said, her voice low. I really am. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. I begged her to see me, I said. For years. You told her I was harassing her. You threatened me with lawyers. I know, she replied. That's the part one regret the most. I weaponized her. I didn't think about what it would cost her long term. Or what it cost you. I closed my eyes, took a breath. Why are you really calling? I asked. This can't just be about guilt. She hesitated. Ariana still believes she deserves something. She thinks your mother promised her the inheritance. She did, I said. Before the divorce. Before Ariana ghosted me. Before she ignored 8 years of messages and showed up out of the blue with her hand out. I know she hurt you, Bella said. But she's still your daughter. No, I said calmly. She's your daughter. You raised her to believe I was a monster. And now you want me to fund her wedding? To some guy who probably hasn't worked a full-time job in his life? Bella was quiet. I offered her money, I said. More than she deserved. It wasn't about fairness. I just wanted to see if even a small part of that little girl was still in there. She wasn't. I don't want this to end like this, she said. You'll regret it when you're older. I laughed, bitterly. You think I haven't been regretting things for the past 8 years? Ariana asked me to try and talk to you, she said. To tell you she's sorry. That she was young. And that She trailed off. Then, quieter, I twisted everything. She already said that, I replied. But, sorry doesn't fix 8 years. Sorry doesn't undo silence. It doesn't turn manipulation into love. She's still your blood. I got up and walked to my mom's old china cabinet. The same one Ariana used to hide behind during hide and seek. I just stared at it for a long moment. You know what hurts the most, Bella? I would have given her everything. Not just money. My time. My love. My forgiveness. I was waiting for her to come back. I paused. But now that she has, I see it clearly. She came for the money. Not me. She misses you, Zach. No, I said. She misses what I can give her. There was a long silence. She's devastated, Bella whispered. So was I said. Another pause. Then she asked something I didn't expect. Do you hate her? No, I said truthfully. But I don't know her anymore. And the woman I met last week? That woman doesn't love me. She loves what I represent. A lost opportunity. A financial solution. A name to write on a check. I let out a deep sigh. I'm done being needed only when it's convenient. And with that, I ended the call. A few days later, a letter arrived in the mail. No return address. Just my name on the envelope, handwritten. Inside was a photo, Ariana at 5 years old, sitting on my shoulders, pigtails flying, laughing like the world couldn't touch us. Taped to the back was a short note. I don't know how to fix what I broke. Maybe I never can. But you were the best dad I could have asked for. I'm sorry I didn't realize it sooner. No request for money. No mention of the wedding. Just that. I placed the photo on the mantel. But I didn't call her. Not out of anger. Not out of spite. Because I finally understood something. Forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. And sometimes, walking away, is the only way to heal.